If you're a sports fan, make sure you go check out SportsCastr for all of your sports needs. Whether you're a football fan, basketball fan, or baseball fan, this app is the perfect way to get news for your team and is an app I personally use myself in case any of you guys want to check out my pregame, halftime, or postgame streams. I'll leave a link in the description below. What is up, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and in this one, we are going to be talking about how the New England Patriots are one of many teams that are interested in veteran quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Now, just a quick disclaimer, obviously this video is going to hit home for a certain amount of people, so if this is a type of video that is going to get you too wound up, that is too hard to hear, I fully and 100% respect that and understand that. I'm just here to report the news, so if this video isn't for you, feel free to click off. Now, Colin Kaepernick is a former San Francisco 49ers quarterback. He is 32 years old, so straight off the bat, you obviously can tell that he's getting up there in age. He hasn't played in the NFL for quite a while. It's been a few years since he's been in the game, so that's already a disadvantage there. So even if the Patriots or any other NFL team were to be interested in him, he's not someone that you would be able to bring in and expect long term. Now, he was a pro, he was a standout when he was able to be playing in the NFL, but again, it's been so long that since then, we do not know exactly what to expect from Colin Kaepernick if he does make a return to the NFL. But the NFL is hosting a private workout with the former 49ers quarterback, and all 32 NFL teams have an opportunity to come watch him and scout him and watch his interview also. Last time he took a snap in the NFL was January of 2017, and since then he has been really just straight up blacklisted by everyone in the NFL because of his off-field issues with protests and whatnot. Everyone really knows the story about Colin Kaepernick at this point, so it's not really a story that I need to get fully into. Since being blacklisted here by all of the NFL teams, he has actually gone through settling a lawsuit against the NFL. He also did this with the Carolina Panthers safety Eric Reid, and now that that has been settled, Kaepernick is looking to showcase his skills and see if he's able to make a potential NFL comeback. And of course, Eric Reid was able to come back, so if he's able to come back, then obviously there is a chance that Cap can also. Some other teams besides the Patriots that are interested in Colin Kaepernick and are looking to attend his workout are teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins, and of course that is just to name a few. And this makes sense for a lot of these teams to be sending representatives to look at Colin Kaepernick. Now, even if these aren't necessarily quarterback-needy teams, it is always a good idea to go out and scout him and just see what his value is and see what other teams are looking at to do with him. The Cincinnati Bengals are a team that really needs quarterback. Okay, Miami Dolphins are another team that really needs a quarterback. The Denver Broncos and the New York Giants are two teams that did draft quarterbacks in the first round, but they could be teams that also look to develop those first-round quarterbacks a little bit more and bring in a high-caliber veteran until their time is to come. One of the really big interesting things here, though, is that the New England Patriots have been related back to Colin Kaepernick even as early as last season. Now, of course, obviously nothing has actually happened with that, but Colin Kaepernick's agent really came out in an interview and he listed a couple teams that were actually interested in Cap, teams that he thought Kaepernick would be going to, and basically said that the New England Patriots were going to be calling about Kaepernick. Of course, nothing else ever actually came out about that. We just heard that the Patriots were interested in him, but no moves or no news after that were recalled. So, of course, it is something to watch. I'm not sure how true that is or if his agent was just really talking out of his butt, but nonetheless, it is news and it is something to monitor. The New England Patriots have also always been that team that has always scooped up players from the outside looking in. This includes guys like Randy Moss, Josh Gordon, just to name a couple of guys, some guys who kind of have been blacklisted here in the NFL, guys that some teams shy away from because of certain off-the-field or on-the-field issues, if not both. And that's something that some of you guys have really expressed to me in the comments that you love about the Patriots, that they're not like every NFL team. They don't shy away from good players because they're scared of the media. And then there's some of you who will comment, why are the Patriots going after these guys? They have issues. They shouldn't bother. So everyone has their own opinion on that. But in my personal opinion, I also like the fact that the Patriots aren't scared of the media and they do not let that dictate the team, and that they do what is best for the team, try to bring guys in, change their personality and their issues, and build them back into the player that they once were. As of right now, the Patriots do have quarterback Tom Brady, but obviously things have been very weird and very confusing involving him putting his house up for sale. Alex Guerrero, his workout buddy, the guy who he really bases his entire life around, he put his house up for sale also. Brady also is set to become a free agent after the season because of his whole contract situation. There's some people who believe that this will be Brady's last season, especially if he goes on to win a Super Bowl, that he's going to call it quits. So a lot of rumors floating around. Take it as you will. But if Tom Brady, let's say, were to retire, hypothetically, after this season, the Patriots would need a guy right away to take over. And in my opinion, they're going to need a veteran, okay? Jarrett Stidham has shown a lot of great flashes, a lot of great potential, but he's not ready to take over the NFL yet, okay? Even if Brady retires at the end of the season, Jarrett Stidham still is not going to be ready. Not 1 year later will he be ready. It's going to take some time for the Patriots to mold him and teach him the ways of the NFL to get him ready for potentially being a franchise quarterback. But for at this current time, he's not a guy that I'd be comfortable enough taking over the team. Now, the lone bright side of all this Colin Kaepernick issues off the field, the best way there that you can possibly really look at it, though, is the fact that his issues are not related to alcohol or drugs or anything like that that could potentially get him in, more trouble or get him suspended. He's not that kind of player. It's just been issues off the field that has caught a lot of attention media-wise that teams really do just not want to pick up and start drama around their team. Of course, Colin Kaepernick is not your classic quarterback in the New England Patriots system. The Patriots really have a pocket passer type of offense, a guy who just sits back in the pocket and does his work with his arm, good offensive line, good receivers, isn't a guy who really relies on his legs, okay? So he's not Lamar Jackson, he's not a Deshaun Watson, he's not a Russell Wilson type of guy when it comes to the New England Patriots system. Now, if you're going to look at Colin Kaepernick, he's exactly the guy that I just named, okay? He's going to be your Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson type of quarterback. And while the Patriots system isn't really based around that type of quarterback, because really for years and years and years, it's been based around Tom Brady and the type of quarterback he is, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Patriots transition into that type of quarterback if Tom Brady or when Tom Brady decides to call it quits. The Patriots are, of course, limited in some way because Tom Brady isn't a scrambling quarterback. He isn't a guy that you see using his legs most of the time to try to escape from, edge rushers and pressure through up the middle like Russell Wilson or even a Colin Kaepernick or Lamar Jackson that we've seen. And I'm sure Bill Belichick, post-Tom Brady era, would like to add a guy who is a little bit more athletic with his legs in order to be able to keep the ball moving a little bit more, because you're really looking at the success of quarterbacks these days and how they're able to maneuver through issues, and the guys that are able to escape through the pocket and are able to use their legs in a sense, not relying on it, but having the ability to, is really just defining the dynamics of the NFL and defining the dynamics of an offense. Besides Tom Brady, Russell Wilson has to be one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch because he's so dynamic in every aspect. He's able to sit back there in the pocket, is able to throw dimes, has really good strong arm, but you also see him being able to maneuver throughout the pocket, scooping out left, scooping out right, dropping back, being able to avoid sacks, being able to avoid defenders. and also keep the chains moving. Now, if you add a quarterback like that with a good offensive line and good offensive weapons, then that is just the type of offense that you are not going to be able to stop. Kaepernick is a 6'4", 225-pound right arm throwing quarterback, and his play really just reminds me a lot of a Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson type of play. In his 6 seasons playing in the NFL, he was able to record a total of 69 games, and he had just 30 interceptions in those 6 years, which is averaging about 5 interceptions per season. He had 12,271 yards, had a completion percentage of 59.8, and also 72 touchdowns, averaging 7.3 yards an attempt. He also has one of the best touchdown to interception ratios in NFL history. So he's a guy that I'm sure Bill Belichick would love because he's a guy who is able to really take care of the ball. He has a really big arm to be able to make high caliber throws, and he isn't just a guy who is able to just throw a deep ball, okay? He's a lot unlike a Lamar Jackson in that temp, who Lamar Jackson's arm is only able to throw a deep ball down the field rather than short, meteorite throws, again, just middle through the field or short field. Another thing that you could really like about Colin Kaepernick, the player here, is the fact that he has so much experience in every aspect of the NFL. Okay, he has preseason experience, he has regular season experience, a lot of regular season experience, and he's also played in the Super Bowl, and he's also played in the playoffs. So every aspect he's been introduced to, so it's not like it would be his first time in any aspect going forward in the NFL. Some people don't believe in experience, but from my personal experience and watching different players and how they perform in big games, I will say that I have personally seen that experience does matter. Now, the big question here, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, is do I think the New England Patriots are actually going to sign Colin Kaepernick? My answer there is going to be no. Okay, we've seen a lot of crazier things happen in the NFL, so it's possible, but even if there is a lot of hype around him and a lot of teams are interested in him, I could just see the Patriots easily getting beaten out of the way for Colin Kaepernick if that's the route that they would be looking to go to. But what are your guys' thoughts on Colin Kaepernick? Do you want him to join the Patriots? Do you not want him to join the Patriots? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure you guys also subscribe to my channel if you have not already and like this video. Follow my other social medias, and please make sure you guys share this video with everybody you know so that we can grow the Patriots global family. But other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.